save on using an antenna and satellite this month?
About 160.
Done! I don't have antenna or satellite TV, but cable company, find me money!
I got you $1. Ooh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
All right. Hey, welcome to Friday live stream call-in chat, satellite TV, computers, tech. Just going to talk about all things that are satellite and tech. I didn't realize my monitor is in the shot. I'll just move that. So, hey, this is I'm your host of this live stream on Robbie Strike on the Robbie Strike channel. Hey, check this out. So, stay tuned to my channel for a soon update. I'll be covering this. I just got this in the mail from Zapperbox. President of the company himself sent me this. I got audio. That's good. And it is an ATSC3 tuner, and there should be some ATSC3 channels in my area. That will probably be a project I'll have this weekend to hook this thing up and play around with it. A little tiny remote. So yeah, that's my project that I got in the works right now for my next upcoming video. Let's put that there for now. Zapperbox. Yeah, just got it, so I haven't had a chance to look around at it. Let's go to go on to the news. Yeah, okay, I'll start with this. For satellite news, we have, well, there's LRN, but I wanted to talk about, let's go over here. Don Henry, who is over at our free satellite TV, North American channels, plus over the air, plus streaming, mouthful Facebook group, mouthful to say. There is 3 new C-band satellites that are up and going. I guess he was tracking them. There is 89 West, there is 91 West, Galaxy 36, 32, and 31, and 121 West, which are 5G compliant satellites, which means that they've moved the frequencies from like the lower 36 gigahertz, 36 gigahertz to the higher 442 gigahertz. So what they've done with satellite is they've repacked, kind of like what they've done with over-the-air TV. And there's all this doom and gloom. 5G is not going to work. You know, probably the same people have told you in the 90s that in the early 2000s the sea levels will raise 4 meters. But it's the doom and gloom people, right? Anyway, there's 3 new satellites. There's nothing on them that I know of at this time. So that's the interesting thing, is like all this doom and gloom about C-band and it's not going to be available anymore. Yet SpaceX is still launching C-band satellites into orbit, and they're more modern and up-to-date, newer technology satellites. I mean, satellites have the ability to spot beam and do all sorts of stuff. Like, for example, my friend Volker did a video where he was scanning one of these free-to-air satellites in Europe, and he was like showing how the channels in the UK are spot beamed. He would talk about how his channels are spot beamed, so that you can only get the ones in the UK. So that's yeah, exciting news. Sat Beams usually has lots of information about the new satellites. If you really want to look into that. Other news, sad news is, but they kept up on the radio. There is, let's read this. Liberty Radio, the Liberty Radio network on Galaxy 19, which is on the KU band side. They'll be ending their satellite transmission at the end of this month, which was, I guess, in a few weeks. We're into July. I heard Ian Freeman say that in an ad for the station, saying they have had increased the rates of their uplink fees, saying somewhere like around, I think they were paying like 1,000 a month, and in Europe, no, there's a whole can of worms, but we'll get into it. It's basically 4,500 a month. And yeah, I'm wondering if they don't want independent media on satellite. I mean, I know a lot of independent media's had to fight to get on satellite for some of these networks because they're owned by big corporations like CBS and who else owned them? NBC. You know, all the big corporations own the satellites, and they didn't really want these smaller broadcasters on it. So I'm going to give some Patreon plugs here. So if you want to support LRN.FM, get out of here. You can do that if you haven't listened to them. You can actually listen to them on the internet, but it's just much cooler to have satellite to be able to listen to radio on satellite. Like the cool thing with stations like LRN.FM that are on Galaxy 19 is I use a really old satellite receiver to listen to them because they have the I don't have one around here, but they have the audio output, and I just hooked up a splitter and I use it as a radio. So I found a use for a really old satellite receiver. It doesn't do HD, does like standard definition MPEG-2, but you can hook that up like an old ViewSat. You can hook that up to and get all this content. Now, here's the thing that gets me. LRN can get on Europe for like $1,500 a month to be like in Europe and the Mideast. But what's going on here when the satellite companies are charging like 4 times as much almost to like be in North America? Like I'd like to have a satellite channel. I'd like to have a crowdfunding thing, start a satellite channel for like tech stuff, and I think that would be a fun thing and have like a something different in there. Here's my Patreon if you want. If you're like a billionaire that happens to watch my live stream and you want to donate to my Patreon so that I can start a satellite channel, I don't think that would really happen. I need lots of money to do that. This is mainly just so I can make videos, buy video production equipment, and keep myself going, even though I'm like full time with another job and I'm trying to do all these videos on the side. Just a little bit to help. If you want to help me over on Patreon, also if you just want to give a one-time donation on PayPal Donate, I have a link in the description of this video where you can do that. Another thing too is I'm been needing a new vehicle. And if you're one of those tree huggers and want people to have electric cars, check out send me like $60,000 for an electric car, well, or even like a couple 20,000 just so to help pay, because they're like $20,000 extra, well, even for used cars, which is a pain right now. I'm looking at anyway, cars are expensive, but anyway, you people who think everyone should have an electric car, donate to me right here so that I'll buy and say it's for an electric car. If you give me $20,000, I'll buy an electric car. Or I need 60,000. The the Chrysler plug-in hybrid Pacifica, $60,000. Yeah, no problem. That's no problem for you. For me, it's like I'd have to save my money for about 10 years to be able to afford one, but I don't know. So, what else do we have here? So there's my Patreon if you want to support my channel, my work. Sorry. Oh yeah, and then that I want to segue into the ATSC 3 news. I don't have any pictures for this. I just have the. Oh yeah, I do have it over here on my Discord. Don't switch. So, in looking for a new car, since I'm talking about a new car, AM radio. I have the list. I have the list right here on my Discord. I posted it up on the shortwave radio group. So there's a list of cars that will not have AM radios. They don't feel that they should be AM radios in cars. I prefer. I am not. I don't have a whole lot of money for and I don't have data on my phone. This is my cell phone. I do not have a data plan on my phone. I have ExpressVPN, use public Wi-Fi, and I don't have data on my phone. I don't, $80 a month in Canada, pretty much, maybe $60 for data on your cell phone. I don't want to buy a car that has to, get another data plan. I don't like this whole you have to be connected to the internet all the time. That's where the future is going with cars. I like having AM radio, which is not connected to the internet type of radio. So and it's fun listening to at night because you can hear stations from far away and you can hear news. And I live in a very news dead area. I just found out that they did an emergency landing in an aircraft. I had my scanner going. I went to Twitter, to our local Twitter page group that runs like local news, and I got nothing. AM radio, but if we had AM radio in this an AM talk news radio station, I'm pretty sure it would have been, the news would have gotten out there. What's going on? Why they shut down part of our city, and all that. So yeah, that's my case for AM. Anyway, there's a list of car companies here that are going to keep. These makers have assessed that they will keep AM for now, but they may be looking at getting rid of AM. And this is the thing with electric cars. I think it is possible to still listen to AM with electric cars, but they're just like you're going to hear like zzz and have like kind of like some interference, and the engineers don't want to try to figure out a way to run an antenna like how we always had. We've had cars, alternators, and all sorts of electric generating things, but they can't do it now. I don't know what's going on. Is there an agenda to keep AM radio out of the cars because of certain content they don't want people to hear? I don't know. But anyway, the brands that are keeping it for now: Honda's keeping it, Hyundai, Jaguar, Land Rover, which makes sense for a Land Rover. You want to keep AM radio because those things are way out in the middle of nowhere, right? And maybe Kia, but except for EVs, I don't know. Maybe they'll keep getting them. Lucid, I never heard of Mitsubishi, Nissan, Stielis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Fiat. Is that the company is that the mother company of Chrysler? I guess. Yeah. Now, my question is, in a Chrysler Pacifica electric plug-in hybrid version, is there an AM radio in that? That's a deal breaker for me, man. You got to have a good coffee cup holder and an AM radio. That's like the deal breaker for me for a car. Although I'm probably going to go with one of those electric scooters everyone's on now. Like that's what basically they're forcing us all to do, those bastards. But Subaru and Toyota, which surprised me. But then Tesla, I guess they took out AM radios in Teslas. That's citing that they don't have. So that's like a big negative for Tesla. No AM radio in a Tesla. BMW, Ford, the alternate technologies. So I think Ford and GM would still have them, and there's like these little notes here in the show notes about the requirements. Volvo. So some of these will not have. Mercedes-Benz, but I guess what I'm thinking is happening here is because they're not having AM radio in their cars. These are rich people who typically buy like Mercedes-Benz and Volvos, and so maybe they can afford to have internet and be connected all the time. But the problem is, what I noticed. Here's the thing, and I don't mean to be picking on my boomer friends here, but they're because but some of the people who have all this money are boomers, and they'll buy like all this fancy stuff with all this technology, but not know how to use it. Maybe that's not just boomer generation. People could fall under like Gen Xers and whatever, right? People who have money, but they just don't know how to use the technology. Like, oh yeah, my car connects to the internet. I have no idea how to connect it to the internet and set it up, but or they had to pay the dealership to set up their internet connection on their vehicle. Like, why do we have to go into? I'm for the car company, the vehicle company that makes vehicles without having to connect everything to the internet. Like, I'm a tech savvy person myself, but I don't need to be on the internet all the time. I like podcasts, and I figured out how to get around being on the internet. Like, I download podcasts too. Where do I have a thumb drive here? I gotta have one here on my desk somewhere. Okay. To a thumb drive. I have an Ubuntu thumb drive. Ubuntu. Yeah. So like I download MP3's podcast to a thumb drive. Now, not a Linux install, but I don't know. This is just an example of a thumb drive. Yeah. So it's just anyway. I do like that in cars. Some of the newer cars have AM/FM, USB plug-in things, so you can play MP3s. Great. I mean, that's awesome. So anyway, that's AM radio. With the news, what else did I want to cover? Wanted to cover, I'm going to go to the comments here. I just wanted to list off what I will cover later on, or remind me in the comments to cover. Should I have a check mark next to these things? Check. Check. I think I didn't do that. Okay, I was looking at my show notes. We have Leo joining us from Texas, and we have Patrick from the land of Quebec. The land of Texas and the land of Quebec.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, and you can join us on Discord. This is the shortwave radio group, but I have a satellite group over on Discord as well if you want to chat. I have popped in. We haven't done like a Saturday night chat, but I popped in here. But when I pop into the voice chat in Discord, there's not always someone in there, but sometimes you can contact me and we can always chat in the voice chat in Discord. Things have been very busy on my end recently, so there we go. We're full screened here. So we have some of the comments here. We had Leo joining us in early. We have Brady from.
Can you put me the other way around?
There, I swapped you.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm the host now.
The other Patrick, the North Coaster Patrick. Hi guys, wish you could stay in chat here, but I can't today. Yeah. So it's kind of I have a situation today where I'm not going to do this very long. I was hoping to do 2 hours, but I got a situation and I gotta deal with it. I'd asked for prayers for my little girl. She's had a rough time recently, and she's 4 years old, and so she has like a bad toothache, and so yeah, just prayers for her that she can we get her a dentist. Like, waiting for a dentist it's a pain. Like, we're trying to find, and we had to go find her. October is not acceptable to get like a kid's tooth pain fixed. No. Yeah. Matthew, hey, how's it going? Here's a question. I don't know if I can answer it, but maybe. Does Elon rent space for his Starlinks? He launched a lot of them and put receivers over Ukraine to help them out. I would like to think he could rent out sat space in North America for indie media. I would hope so, because he does have SpaceX. And I don't get this whole thing with LRM where they're making them pay. Basically, they're making them pay for a radio channel, but you'd have to pay for a TV channel. Like, that's what the cost of it is. A radio channel is actually really not that expensive. Like, it's like $1,000 a month. Like, if you're an organization like a radio, that's really not that bad for like, consider like for a radio station, right? To rent the space. Yeah, and I would think with SpaceX making satellites to go in orbit cheaper, why is satellites going up? Like, these are old dinosaur companies, and they just don't want independent media out there. I'm not sure. I do know that Starlink is a game changer because like you can be way out in the middle of nowhere. Now I don't have Starlink. I live in a city, right? I got not dial up cable internet. I go through a different company than the cable company, but basically it's through that cable line.
one of my neighbors actually has Starlink, and I can attest that they mostly have the same problem as the old dish the old internet provider with using dish. The problem is that you need it in the wood, and what you get in the wood. So the trees are so high sometimes that you cannot see many dish at the same time, many sat at the same time. So you end up with problem even with the SpaceX. So it,
First, I have first experience with with Starlink. Okay, they say when you call them up, they say, "Oh, we don't have satellites available at the moment to purchase the equipment to set up the satellite service." So you'll be waiting for years until they release more equipment to the public. But you can take a previous customer or a current customer's satellite and move it to your location and it will work just fine.
yeah, it's gonna work, but you need to set it up right, because if you're in the wood and the trees are tall near you, you will have problem to set it up. So in a funny sense, in a funny way, it's kind of the same problem as a normal Cband dish for internet. It's that if you have too much trees, you still have problem with SpaceX.
Oh yeah, because it's moving around. Yeah.
It's not
I
the same
listen.
problem, but
Yeah.
you're gonna have problem.
Yeah.
It's like the C-band dish. You need a wide terrain.
Yeah. I was listening to an interview yesterday from LRN because I've been kind of listening to LRN now because they're going away on KU band. Maybe they won't go away. Maybe they'll find the funding or find another provider that's not going to charge them like the amount for a TV channel. I don't know for satellite, but I was listening to them and there was like people doing an interview like this. And they were using Starlink, and then the person that they were talking to cut out for a minute, like the audio cut out. It was radio, it wasn't video interview, but it was radio interview. But his audio cut out because he was on Starlink. So I don't know if that's a common thing for Starlink users, where you can be doing a call and then your audio drops out for a second because it's reconnecting to a different satellite.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
That's what it does. It tries to reconnect you to the nearest satellite.
Yeah, and then that
It's
could cause
supposed
It
some.
to
doesn't
be.
give you the best
It
signal.
might not work great for video calls, or I don't know. It
It's supposed
should
to be
work.
transparent, you know.
Yeah. What was the other one that did that? Uh,
What I mean.
yeah,
There's supposed to be a Amazon version of this coming out soon
I heard about that.
in
I
the
haven't heard
near
anything new
future.
about that. Yeah, Amazon was gonna like have a bunch of their satellites put in orbit, which would be a competitor to Starlink. But I haven't heard anything about that. That guy's blast. Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn Leo's audio down just a bit because like yeah, he is a little, his audio is a little hot there on his end. Another thing, Patrick, I'll let you be a little political here for a minute because we're gonna talk about the
I'm never political, you know.
so Justin Trudeau has
Yeah,
pushed
it's a good one. Yeah.
has pushed the Bill C-11 through the Canadian Parliament. So what this means is the government wants to regulate the big tech internet. So there was a petition, and this was like in the Canadian people, and people from both sides, like wherever your political standing is, was against this Bill C-11. It was like a streaming bill that it would go after Netflix and go after YouTube and Facebook for how they curate their media without giving like a Canadian first aspect. So it's been pushed through. We still got to wait for what the CRTC is going to do with this, and I don't think it's good. Government getting involved in things like this is not ever going to be good. It's probably going to be more pain. Where we've lived in a free era for years, and now we're going into an era of restrictions. I don't know if this will show the. Anyway, it's going to say that it's passed. There it goes. Bill C-11 is law. Bill C-11 has become law April 27th, 2023, and will allow the government to regulate your content based on the level of Canadianness. Stay informed. So this is one of the sites that's following that. I'm kind of sad and disappointed by this because, like, it's going to make refugees of, like, internet refugees. Will force people to use VPNs. Will like the government make it illegal to have VPNs? Everything should be, like, you know, in the exposed so that you can't have privacy, you know, so that, I don't know, it's just you can't see things in other countries, only stuff in our countries, which is a very common thing. It used to be the government wasn't pro shortwave radios because they didn't want hear news from other countries. So it sounds a lot more restrictive. So that's C11. I'm not going to get too. I guess you can look more into this.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more people who've covered it better than what I can cover it. But this is more for, like, a streaming thing. But it's like, see, the government's involved in how our airwaves work in Canada, and it's not good in Canada. We could have, like, just as many TV stations as in the States, but because CRTC, the red tape, there is not as much TV. There's not as much local free media in Canada. Like, there's not one station I like is like an independent radio community-run radio station, and with companies like Bell and Rogers and Shaw and Videotron, you know, controlling this and owning all the stations, there's no room for independent media in Canada.
There's no public anymore. There's also no public for independent media. We lost our sense of community. We don't have as
that's what I was saying.
Factor as the Americans.
There was an incident here in my town, and there's no radio, there's no TV that kind of gives like news about why the city's been shut down because there's been a plane emergency landing of an aircraft. We don't have that. Like, I'm being who I am. I have a scanner. I can turn on a scanner and listen to, like, amateur radio operators talk to each other, but they had nothing last night. So it's yeah, it's just there's nothing like on your typical AM FM radio that can serve the community as propaganda, but not like breaking news or whatever.
The funny thing here is that in communitarism, what we got in Canada, when we have so many different people, we don't have any media to put those people together, you know. So that's the problem. And about Bill 50, Bill C11, the only word I can say here is China.
Yeah. It's not giving us free. Anyway, so I haven't really talked about Catchy Comedy. That's a new channel. Can you get that on your over-the-air local anywhere? I don't know if I can move my video arm over here. This here. No, that's not what I want. There.
Is that a
maybe I can just put this in like that. There we go. So these channels are on 101 West. I heard rumors that they're going to encrypt all these. Those rumors have been around, like, I don't know, forever. But good channels. I can get, what can I get on the antenna? I get this one. I get MeTV, but I don't get Story and Catchy. Yeah, I really don't only get MeTV on my antenna. But then I use the Cband Satellite dish to watch all these other channels.
I wonder, I didn't see the last video of Antenna Man, but he seems to get back again on the fact that ATSC is going to use some encryption. So what's the news about that exactly?
Yeah, so I'll go into ATSC. So there's been a lot of backlash about ATSC 3 using DRM encryption. So what that is, so I'll give you an example. I got this box here I'm going to do a review on next week. I'll be working on this video next week for this Sapper box. This one here, I'm just going to Did you drop out? No.
That you need to get bigger.
Yeah, there we go. This here is a Zapper box. It doesn't have DRM encryption, but I think it can get a software update that will allow you to view the DRM. So this box here and the HD Home Run are, I think, the only ATSC 3 set-top boxes on the market right now, and there can't even view if the TV station is broadcasting DRM encryption, nobody can view it. So even the people with the boxes. So this is a real brilliant by the broadcasters. Let's broadcast a signal and encrypt it with an encryption that no one has an ability to view it. Like,
If you broadcast with DRM, it's not broadcast. There's nothing broad about it.
yeah. It's closed broadcast. So the reason for DRM encryption, and this thing is capable of DRM encryption. It just needs a software update. And maybe it already has a software update. I'm not sure. I haven't plugged it in yet. I haven't had a chance to do that. But DRM encryption, I guess the idea of it is so that you can't restream it. You can't hook your Home Run and jerry rig it up and like start your own online cable service. Because they don't want people doing that. They wouldn't want, they wouldn't want people doing that.
It won't be encrypted, but it won't be able to. It's like the Blu-ray stuff. You won't be able to hook it up to something else than your TV,
Yeah. But basically, that's what it is. It basically makes it so you can only hook it up to your TV. You can't hook it up to like a PVR. But I think there is a PVR function. But then it's like it gives a limitation of how long. But I think like some of the nice things I like about a PVR is that you can record it to a thumb drive or to an SD card and put it on a tablet and then watch it on the go. I don't PVR stuff anymore. I used to, but then what I found with PVRs is I'd fill like a 2 terabyte hard drive with video and never watch it because I never had time to watch it. But maybe some people do who are watching over-the-air broadcasts, and that's kind of the nice thing with over-the-air broadcasts is there's shows on at different times. You can PVR it and watch it at a later time.
You're right. We record stuff on our PVR and we don't watch it. So I did that before with the Shot Direct PVR, and for some movie that was available. And what I actually did is taking note of the movie I recorded and re-download it from internet. So it's kind of.
I wanted to chime in with some thoughts here about the DRM. I think they're trying to do this so they can figure out a way to put premium channels on the over-the-air.
Yeah.
Like where you can have like a wrestling match, and you can go on demand and order that wrestling match, or a boxing match, or even a hockey game.
But the question is how long
possible to like put sub channels like ESPN or Disney on the ABC sub channels,
Yeah, I think that's where it's going. Yeah. I mean, how long before you can go on to an online realtor, not to mention any big online realtors like the biggest ones out there that sell Android boxes, which give you everything, like, just as simple as that. But how much longer will they be a device on an online realtor, like the biggest one out there? And then it just, gets past that. Like that. It's just a matter of time before. I think it's a matter of time before that does happen, and I won't be able to report on that because I'm just going to be like Google that. I'm not going to tell you. But I think there's a matter of time before that does happen. We're talking like for boxes that get around the encryption. I think that will be
whatever they're doing with the ATSC and over the air, whatever they will do in the future won't change the fact that people think that you cannot get digital television from your old antenna. So
Yeah. Well, it'll be like in my area. When I tell people I'm in Canada, when I tell Canadians that I watch TV with an antenna, they like look at me like a deer in the headlights. I thought they shut all that down because they're so not every Canadian, obviously, but like a lot of Canadians have been so
Just
propagandized by
propagandist.
the.
That's messed their
This is
mind
my
up.
wife. They've been so propagandized by the cable companies, by Bell and by Rogers, that oh no, we're so great, we're gonna provide you your TV channels with your smartphone and through our internet service provider and all that.
They not just the antenna, but they think that the C-band satellites have went away.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Like it's like people think I'm listening to aliens in space with the C-band satellite dish. Yes, I connected to an extra, which is totally true. I connected to an extraterrestrial spacecraft that they
yeah,
was
it's
put
for
up there.
communicating with the CIA on Mars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God! But it just shows that people are just in general. Let's put it that way. They're it's kind of form of a factor. I mean to say that the marketing goes before the technology. So regardless of the fact that you think if something is dead or not, what's matter when you want to push a new technology is what people are thinking first. You cannot push a technology that people will think that it's already dead, you know. So
Yeah, that's kind of where it is. Like I don't even know how. Like all the radio stations say we're on iHeartRadio. Like we're on iHeartRadio. Well, actually, you're actually on radio, like with an antenna. But I guess they're thinking like all the younger generation that are on cell phones all the time. Listen, but I don't even think they go to download of iHeartRadio and listen to local. They're probably listening to whatever their favorite artist is.
yeah, I think the only application they got on their phone is Spotify, for what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that could be where or Apple users, it's like an Apple podcast. Apple's told them to think this and to watch this, and yeah, so
It does it in the manner of marketing and what people think that are available. There's nothing much for them. So you put out a Spotify on Art Radio or something else, and it will never get a reach that you could have back in the day when you don't have any choice. So it's will never be able to broadcast really broadly like before. Everyone are on their niche, so like us.
yeah,
So
we got a niche. Like I mean, I like older shows when I have time to watch TV, and professional wrestling, which has been on like C-band. Lots of old shows, old movies, and wrestling. I mean, but even wrestling, I have not been following wrestling. I'm in a busy stage right now. Did you see Catchy any satellite? Did you catch any satellite from Europe in your country? I
there
don't
is no
really.
fact we don't catch
We get rebroadcast, like they're uplinked and downlinked on the satellites, but we don't. I mean, we do get some European TV channels. Not a lot though, surprisingly. Like we'll get like DW and like channels like that, but we won't get like not a whole lot of UK channels. That's all like encrypted. Like that'd be great, but I think because with UK channels is a lot of like American programming, and they have like an agreement with the United States not to rebroadcast a lot of them in this area. So yeah, I mean you can watch them on big retailer boxes that you buy on the internet or whatever, but
Oh, that worked, by the way. I saw one of my friends has this one of these bucks, and I can tell you, my God, he doesn't touch his C-band anymore.
yeah. I'm more like in it for I guess the radio play of it, and also there is channels I watch on C-band, probably more on KU band these days for the news feeds, but Yeah, there is a lot of content there. Maybe if I had more time to watch TV, I'd see more of what's going on. But somebody posted their news feed pictures up here on the satellite forum. I just like this one picture here. Somebody else join in. Oh, you're showing your feed, Leo. One of the news feeds.
What's that?
Look at this reporter there. That's what you see a lot, the smirking of
At least she don't pick her nose.
maybe she is.
Oh, that's I miss that.
KU band feeds are fun. Like you can see what's going on KU band.
Do you see my screen, Robbie?
Your screen?
Yeah.
Is it clean? Is it your Spotify or your?
No, this is another application. I think it's called Audacity, AUDACY, and
Oh, yeah?
it's got a lot of different stuff on here. Podcasts, music, sports. It's pretty good. It's all free.
Oh yeah.
This is what I used. Some of the guys in the chat, they were talking about TuneIn and iHeartRadio, and this is a great alternative right here.
I use Bandcamp. Who was I listening to music on? Bandcamp and one of the other music services were. See, I used to like the website mp3.com. This is going years ago, and it was one of the first websites. It was pre-YouTube, but it almost felt like a YouTube channel for bands. And Bandcamp's the same way, where you can listen to the music and download an MP3. Kind of like what all these streaming sites have become. I got OBS restream. Yeah. I think I covered pretty much the things I wanted to talk about. I gotta go to the washroom though. I don't know how much longer I'll do this stream.
We can comment also on your news out here, because if I do remember, there was something else. What did you talk about at the start of the stream? You talked about
I forget now. I talked about a bunch of things. I talked about Kill Bill. I talked about LRN shutting down their satellite service. And I talked about ATSC 3, Weigel, the Kill Bill, Patreon. Got another tab here. Actually, if you want to talk for a minute, I just got to go to the washroom. I'll be right back. You guys can talk amongst yourselves here to the audience. You be good. You be good, Patrick. You be good. Drink your orange juice. You be good.
I'm good. I have a lot of respect for you two. Not the bill, actually, but for you two. Oh, so since I look like the host right now, I'm gonna ask you, what are you doing with your? You have a Cband dish actually again?
No, I don't have anything. I'm planning in the future to buy some equipment.
Gonna be cheap soon.
I got some stuff ready to hook up. See, I got a RG11 back there, in by my sofa, ready to hook up for the antenna. I got some equipment here to crimp the connectors, different types of connectors here in this bag. I went to the store recently. This one is a crimp connection.
Yeah, the right one.
Yeah, I got crimp and I also got some grounding blocks and stuff like that.
So are you gonna install a KU band first?
No, right now I'm gonna install my antenna outside. But I even got the stripper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna install my antenna outside, and then I'm gonna install a KU band later.
There's a gonna be more interesting for you to do that than buying those bucks from Google. Those bucks we can see many channel on that, but unfortunately you need to pay back those channels.
Yeah, I already got a satellite here, but it's a satellite internet provider, a HughesNet. That's where how I'm streaming right now.
You're using Usenet right now? Okay.
Yes.
So you're not in the wood, or are you far from the
I'm not in the woods, but there are some trees in the way. Some trees, but it's mostly clear. It's far enough back that it passes the trees. It goes over it.
Oh, that's nice. Because that's the problem with the old dish for when you use those dish for internet. But the new one from SpaceX is actually you cannot actually cut the trees because that's all the trees around that are in the way. So
you'd have to get it up high and on a tower, maybe.
yeah, higher than the trees, and
yeah.
and you're gonna have more bandwidth.
One of
Oh,
my
you
friends' name is Paul, and that's what he does. He has to install towers for some of these Starlink satellites.
And actually, that's weird because, in fact, those dishes should not be on the tower. But the fact is that if you have your dish from here, and all the trees are around, you can only have some of the satellite that you can see. But if the fewer sat you get, the less bandwidth you also receive, and so.
Well, imagine like a lot of people, they're putting it on the roofs like it's like a satellite dish, but it's also because the Starlink antenna is also tracking from different areas in the sky. I did this as like kind of like a similar experiment when I did on one of my earlier videos about the International Space Station, because like when it flies over, you can listen to it with a radio. It works better with an SDR because then you can fix the Doppler effect because you can see it. I'm still gurgling. Somebody suggested to me in the comments, because I gurgle and I burp because I drink so much coffee in the morning, and that's when I do a lot of my videos, is take some apple cider vinegar and with water. I've been drinking that, but I'm still gurgling.
Oh, I see. I thought it was your mic.
No, it's it could be my mic. This is the cheap $16 wireless mic that I bought off of AliExpress. It's one of the things I got.
You got your answer there, AliExpress.
Yeah, AliExpress is kind of like Wish, but I don't know.
Wish, but it does work.
Sometimes it works, yeah. Well, sometimes the descriptions are not very good in those things.
Did you try the new Wish that's called Temu? TEMU?
No, I have not. I'm pretty much most of the, like, if I buy stuff, I usually buy on eBay. Buy a lot on eBay, and if I have to, I go through Amazon, but I try to.
Don't use Temu.
I find, because I do affiliate marketing, I find commissions on eBay are more honest. I don't feel like I get my full commissions from a lot of people who do like influencing. They use Amazon, but I find I like, okay, so I'll give you an example. 1 month on eBay, I'll make $40. No, I'm not making a ton of money, like, but $40. Amazon, I'm making $4. Okay, and it's Amazon, and you think that there'd be more people shopping on Amazon, but I don't know. Maybe it's the people that watch my channel or click on the links that the affiliate links I have. It doesn't work. I don't know. I found, but Amazon's trickier too, because you have to have a link for US, a link for Canada, a link for Europe. For eBay, it's just one link, which probably complicates things too.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, I run into so much problems being in Canada, trying to influence, like, for other news I didn't cover, but it's where is that and I don't want to run down the rumor mill or anything, but TVROSAT says Rainier satellite customer support has been discontinued. This was like always, I didn't really like talking about them because they didn't want to give me a receiver to review. I approached them and said, "Hey, would you like me to review their receiver so I could show the satellite enthusiasts?" And I never talked to anyone who had Rainer Satellite, like that had their subscription service, and could tell me whether it was good or not. Right? So I was always kind of like, I have no answer for you.
Yeah, because it's been how can I put it? We heard about them from way back, so
They've been
I'm not
around for a
sure
while.
what they're actually doing, because it seems to have changed, but no one is using them. I'm not sure what they're actually doing, or they were
And
doing.
one thing I don't like is some people on forums like this. They get the information, but the information is outdated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
most of the time, yes. So at first they were sellers of 4D TV receiver, and afterward they, they're the guys that behind the fact that we needed to encrypt C-band channel in the old analog time. What the story about them again?
I don't know. I'm looking at their website, but it looks like it's still their site's still up.
They're still up, but no one thinks about them. I'm not kind saying that
I know.
way.
Well, here's their site. I don't know. I saw that over there, but I'm looking at Rainer's site, and I have really no interest in paying. Like, if I want subscription TV, I can just go to Bell, or I can
Yeah,
go
right.
to. I'd probably go to Shaw Direct but I'm kind of scared. Well, what should I like? What will Rogers do if they buy them? They offer like some premium channels, but then they always will have like free to air channels posted up on here somewhere sometimes.
How do you get premium channel on a C-band dish nowadays? You don't.
Well, they're like supposed to be a subscription service, but the thing is, you got to buy their receiver, and it's really expensive. So it gives you content on C-band, but then you're paying a lot of money for the receiver, which almost doesn't seem worth the while.
And then some of them seem like repackaged C-band channels. They're like free channels in the clear that you can get on your own, but then they repackage it for their format.
There's their packages. They have an eBay store too. I mean, the one place I have sent people to these guys because they have the dish movers.
But what I
But
understand,
I like CTV is still in the clear, so like it's basically advertising CTV is available.
okay,
Yeah,
I get it. They're
they have
kind
a dish
of
mover.
My question: why would you want a premium subscription on a C-band when you can get a smaller dish that does basically the same?
show me this. Those receivers are not used anymore, by the way. Huh? Did I saw for DTV receiver? Is it
There's the
right?
Cisco 4D TV. Yeah.
Yeah, no, those doesn't work anymore. The broadcaster don't use for DTV anymore for the HD channel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure about it, because those receiver use MPEG-2, and the encryption is from Motorola, and those have all been changed. So the broadcaster don't use that anymore. So if you you cannot receive channel in that manner. Even if you have rebroadcasting from another source on the C-band, because they won't implement a new old technology on new channel, and the channel that we're using that stopped use that I think 4 years ago. So
Yeah. So
it seems
attention
to be
customers,
dated. It
due
seems
to
to be dated.
cutbacks, due to budget cutbacks, as of 5/10/2023, Rainer Satellite is shutting down our dedicated tech support line for technical issues and support. Please call our main number at this number here. Beyond that, all calls, just basically the calls. But I still don't know anyone who does this, who has this. They do have a dish mover though. My friend, he's not on tonight, but he'll watch the replay. He bought I think he bought a dish mover from them. Anyway, it's the thing is the only thing about this is I wish I had more information for you guys, but like they would not, and I don't know anyone who could like assess to that they have Rainier, they're happy with it, and like and to hear that I don't have that, so yeah.
It's always been. I always wonder what they were doing
Yeah.
actually. Because I
But if you
never
want
believed what
all
they're
the
seeing.
premium stuff, you're pretty much gonna have to go through like either
Yeah.
Dish Network or DirecTV in the States. In Canada, it's Shaw or Bell, and that's pretty much the only providers. And they use like the linear KU band. Well, Shaw doesn't. Shaw uses linear. That's why we use Shaw
It's
direct
pretty-
dishes for free.
It's
Satellite.
pretty
The funny
much
thing is that
DirecTV
Shaw
and
actually use the same technologies as C-band dish for encryption and all those stuff. So
They're still using those, and I wonder how much longer, because they'll need to upgrade their receivers. Like they're already 20 years old, and they're not H.265 for because
yeah,
with H.265 you can fit a lot more channels on one transponder. What you can see that in the free to air world with 117 West, where they have like one transponder and there's like 20 channels jam packed in there, and there are HD.
yeah, but the 2000s are over. Will you invest in satellite redistribution of broadcast channel? I won't.
Yeah, it was more the hobbyist aspect of it. Yeah.
But yeah, right. No, and you gotta understand also that nowadays we it's not possible to subscribe to anything directly from the source like we did in the old time. So
No, we're in a different world now too. Like where the cable companies, I mean, they still have customers that will pay for for 120 channels, and they'll pay like $150 a month for the same 120 channels. I mean, we're gonna have that for a while.
The source, from the C-band first generation broadcast from the broadcast. You cannot subscribe to that in any shape or form, except if you have a CRTC license to rebroadcast those. Because you're a broadcaster yourself, so
yeah. Well, yeah, it's just what it is. I mean, there still is free content on satellite. I wonder how much longer people will use satellite to, like in Europe. If you watch Volker, have you seen Volker's video where he does a scan and he gets like CNN and all the news channels that are in English? They get that in Europe, yet we get nothing here. Like, and that's KU band. That's like with a little KU band dish.
They don't think they're not the same people.
No, obviously it's wild. How in Europe there's like so much more on satellite than here in Canada. But yeah, let's hope. I don't know. Like, will ATSC? Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to talk to you about it with ATSC 3.0, and Tyler, the antenna man, covered that too. How there was radio stations in ATSC 3 because it's a carrier, but they can fit like, so they're going to put ATSC 3 in cars, but I don't know how many cars have ATSC 3 in it yet, because what they can do with it's kind of like HD radio, except they're transmitting the radio frequency or the radio channels through ATSC 3.0, because you can fit like a whole lot of content in one carrier. So that'd be interesting, but I don't know if we've seen cars with ATSC 3. It's hard enough to find TVs with ATSC 3.0 tuners.
But will you have car with ATSC? I'm not sure about that, because the technology can give us a lot of possibilities. We will never fill those possibilities because of the bills and regulation we got. So how can you sell a new project if you can put something in because of the many laws you got? prevent you
It's
preventing
interesting
you
how
from doing this. So
radio, before the government regulated radio, people could just people in the 1920s, people were just starting their own mom and pop radio stations, which you couldn't do now, but people were doing it back in the early days of radio. And now with it makes it so hard, like really to start your own little low power radio or even a TV station. I mean, you could do that, but then you'd have to get all the permits and license, and that would be like a pain
yeah,
to
but your
do all that.
competition is so
Yeah,
high, so
too many
many.
hoops, and they only give out so many licenses per year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we got a station here in town. It's a high school low power radio station, and they're like on a wait. They haven't really increased their power, but they're like on a waiting list. It takes years to get like their power increased. And the radio stations that are like these low power independent radios, they're way better than these commercial radio stations. They cover local news and all that a lot better than these big corporate Bell and Rogers owned radio stations here in
Here
Canada.
we have a FM station from college here. I went to in the 90s, and I can tell you their broadcast power are quite high because I think they cover about 100 kilometers, maybe. I'm not sure because they're all over the region, and it's just student radio, but it's actually a broadcast. It's a college for broadcasters, so
Yep. Well,
uh,
college radios, I like the college radio programming. Like there'll be like music that you don't like. It's a different style of music that you'd hear. Like here we got like I don't know 3 or 4 rock stations that play like the same rock stuff, which
yeah,
is
for
fine.
college radio. But
Yeah.
when your college radio is actually uh, a college for making yourself to work on in radio station, so you hear what they're actually on radio because they will know they will not broadcast stuff that you're not broadcasting on normal radio, because they're learning how to make FM radio, so they won't broadcast anything else. Unfortunately, they're not different from FM radio in my case here. Unfortunately, so it makes for it's funny because they sound like the other FM radio. They broadcast the same music, but the animate the people
Oh yeah,
that speaking
their voices are not as
are
animated.
way they sound
Okay.
way younger,
Yeah, well, community radio, and that was one of the things that I did like a workshop at CFR. What the one in CHUO in Ottawa? I went to CHUO in Ottawa to do some radio workshops. They were a radio station in Ottawa where you can get a radio show. Like it was community radio. So if you want to volunteer your time, you can go to it and have a radio show. This is before the internet, right? So it's like, well, not before the internet, before podcasting and all that. This is back in the 90s. So like there used to be able to go in and they give you a workshop how to work the board, how to run the CD decks and all that. Yeah, people would have radio shows, and it was interesting because you get all sorts of different alternative content on those. And the one thing they liked about it was that people talk normal. They didn't talk with their voices all hyped up like you would hear like on a VJ. They would talk normal, like how normal people talk. Instead of talking like you're listening to the greatest hits of all time on the top 40 hits. These are the only songs you're ever going to have to ever listen to, is these top 40 songs that we play over and over again. Yeah.
Actually, it's not the same case because they don't hype up their voice like you're saying much. The French does that, but in Quebec we tend to get a higher level of French, but we don't give ourselves a personality that is not true, But we don't hear what you're talking about. I get what you're talking about because I'm watching and hearing broadcast news in English, but in French, there's maybe the French CBC that does that a bit, get better French, but we don't. We the higher up the style, the over the top broadcasting sound is much heard. It's much heard in the English word. I will tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the way media is. I don't know. I'm kind of tuning out of like the mainstream media more and more these days, and just finding like it's like on YouTube, right? Like with YouTube, it's there's so many channels, and I'll subscribe to them. I don't have time to watch a lot of their content on YouTube because I'm so busy, right? So, but
Do
there's
you
like
make
if
yourself
I had
playlist?
time, I'd watch that. What's that?
Make yourself some playlists in YouTube. It's incredible uh,
Oh yeah,
what you can do with YouTube when you're making yourself playlist of things to watch.
yeah,
The algorithm gonna take that from the kind of stuff you want to see, even if you don't see it,
yeah,
and you end up choosing inside your playlist. And for the time you will have a better experience of YouTube because
yeah.
you're gonna be able to watch
I've always been,
exactly what you
yeah.
want.
I've always been signed on to YouTube, and definitely it will show you videos. Like if you click on the like button in YouTube, the algorithm will like show you videos that are similar that
Hmm?
other people like. They use all this information, and you'll have a better experience that way. You'll find content that it will serve you, because I think what their end game of that is to keep you watching. The longer they can keep you watching, the better it is for them for their advertising. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, and I didn't write this down, but YouTube is now, I guess they're moving toward, and this will annoy people. I understand. 1 minute unskippable ads before you click on a video if you
That's
watch it like
I
on a
didn't
smart
find
TV.
that. Is that so? Yeah.
Yeah, they've moved toward that. I've already seen videos that do play like a 1 minute ad before the videos. My kids are use the Roku TV, so the Roku shows the ads.
A 1 minute ad and you don't have
No
five
option to skip.
seconds to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Some
way to
videos,
skip it.
yeah, or
You
they'll show
cannot
you,
skip it.
a skippable ad, then they'll show like
You
a
can't skip it for 1 minute.
yeah.
I have a tip for you, a trick on this.
We won't get into the tips and tricks because we're on YouTube,
Oh,
and they probably don't want us talking about that.
oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Um, although I do have a channel on Rumble, and there's no 1 minute ads on Rumble. People are like,
I
oh,
was not
Rumble, blah blah
talking
blah.
about
A bunch of
stuff
things
you
about
do.
Rumble, but it's also YouTube has the exact same problems.
Oh,
So yeah,
so you talk
everywhere
about
has the
the
same
trouble
problem.
of YouTube on Rumble and the Rumble on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't have a whole lot of exclusive content. Just like the videos that YouTube removed, and I tried to appeal them, and then I was like, "There's nothing wrong with this video, but it's still on Rumble, so people can see it there." But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just, and that was like, it was not like anything political. It was just basically talking about technology that
Yeah,
was,
that's a weird prank. But regardless of its politics or
yeah,
technology, whatever, regardless of that, it seems like I'm not sure if I'm like everyone else on this, but it seems like you watch stuff on YouTube, and what you cannot watch, you will watch it on Rumble and stuff like that. But you only watch stuff you want to see. You won't discover new things on those sites. You're using YouTube to discover stuff, and the stuff you can watch anymore on YouTube, you get it on Rumble and Odyssey and stuff
on
like that.
Odyssey and other video
You
sites
don't
that,
watch anything on except what you predetermined to watch on Odyssey and Rumble.
yeah.
Is it right?
Now, yeah, but the thing is, what I gotta say, like, if I were to compare Rumble to YouTube, YouTube has a lot better features. Like Rumble still to this day doesn't have a notification bell in the browser, which is really annoying. Like someone, if you comment on one of my videos on Rumble, I
Okay.
have to use my phone and dig into the settings to find to find Rumble, to find the settings. Hey Brady, you're joining in right at the tail end of the show, but we're gonna be going soon.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Yeah, but Rumble is there's a lot of content, and the video quality looks good on Rumble. They just need to get themselves up to like a polished prime time, like what YouTube is, like analytics. The analytics on Rumble are not as good, and they kind of, well, same thing like with YouTube and with Rumble. They have their favorites, right? They have their content they want to push. They have Steven Crowder, and they have who's the other, Dan Bongino, because Dan Bongino is an owner of Rumble. Like that's all political stuff. I'm not even political. I'm like I'm a tech talk show, right? And I think maybe that's where Rumble how they get more views on Rumble is because, but I don't find the discovery on Rumble is as good as YouTube, from my experience, from what I found. I like seeing other platforms out there. I used to be a big Dailymotion fan. I was a fan of how Dailymotion was. Like I used it a lot. It was like, it was like the bar number 2 to YouTube was Dailymotion. Now I think I would have to say it's Rumble has become the.
What happened to them? We don't talk about Dailymotion anymore.
Dailymotion? I don't know. I don't know who owns Dailymotion, but they really didn't push Dailymotion to be what a YouTube competitor, right? I would say, well, actually, the biggest competitor to YouTube is TikTok, which is sad. And you've heard me talk about TikTok before. Instagram's big too because of the short videos, the short attention span videos.
You make me think about something. YouTube. One thing that doesn't work with YouTube is when you're watching those short video that you cannot stop watching, and you end up 2 hours later still watching 30 seconds of video. When you try to get to the comments, if those little videos are coming from TikTok, you cannot see the comments.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't like those.
No, I think someone will direct you to Instagram as well.
I see the TikTok. It comes up on Facebook, yeah, and it always has like the little TikTok chime at the end. And I don't know. It's just yeah.
Hey Robbie.
Yep.
Not to change the subject or anything, but what size are the arms generally? They're just 24 and 36, aren't they?
Yeah, 24 should be good.
Because I went to go measure, and it was like 42, and that didn't make sense to me.
Oh no, it's the stroke length, I think. Because if we go end to end, it would be like, the actuator would be like 42 inches, I think. Yeah, I think mine's like that. Mine's a 30. Is it 36? Yeah, a 36-inch actuator, and the actual length of the actual actuator is like something like 42 inches or something like that, because it has the motor and all that. So it's really calculating the stroke, I think, of the actuator.
They're also the size, I think, of the actuator, the diameter of the actuator, because they're two sides of our arm, one for a 10-footer and another for strong enough for a 12-footer. Is it right?
There's heavy duty, really heavy duty ones. But most of what you're going to find now are probably like a standard 36.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out which one I need. It's a 10-foot old laser dish.
Oh yeah.
Mesh.
Well, what could happen, even if you get because they're cheaper and easier to find, is a 36-inch. You probably would be able to get most of the arc, and if you don't get all of the arc, you could always move the clamps of the actuator. So either it goes further east or it goes further west of your liking. Because I think most of the prime location, it used to be at the top of the sky, but they're launching a lot of satellites that are like 135 west, which might have more content in it in the future, which would look more on the, well, I guess maybe it might be better for you where you are out in mountain time.
Right.
Yeah. So better than where it works.
Yeah, I haven't got it going yet. I've had a million things going on.
And actually, that's another thing, is that maybe your dish won't have to face east as far as a dish in my location.
I think, well, when it was working back in the day, it got clear to like W3 East. And then it got
Yeah, those were
F,
the old
then
names.
it got clear to F4 or F1.
Yeah, I don't know what an
And
F4 and F1 was. I wasn't around those days. I just go by the angle of the satellite, whether it's 130, like 133 west, or if
Right.
it's at 55 west, which is I do get satellites that are more east than that, like 42 west.
So do you think I'm better off with the 5G C-band only, or should I do one with the KU band?
I'd go with the 5G one, just especially for setting up the dish, because it will find, and also when you're setting up a dish, you can always get one of the 5G one and then try a CKU band LMB. But I would say for setting up the dish, you're probably better to have the 5G filter one.
Right. I was just wondering if I should just do C-band only though on that dish, and not KU.
That's what I do on my dish.
I can tell you about that. It works, but you gotta be good at aiming your dish and fine tuning it.
The one I have on there now,
it's not made for a big 10-footer, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
because what I really like, I did have a CKU band LMB, but then I just went with a C band LMB because KU band dishes are smaller and cheaper, and I
Right.
just have like a few multiple.
Well, see, and I have those two ring
KU
mount
band
dishes,
dishes. Yeah.
6-foot ring mount dishes. I have probably, I don't know, 7 10-footers. Got one 7.5 footer. I got one 12-footer.
Yeah, if I can actually do things the way I'd really like to do, I would have like two 10-footers. Have one which I would with the actuator and get an actuator cover for it, which I've learned. And pretty much just move it like a little bit, and then have another dish for like have a dish for the east and have a dish for the west. Is basically what I would do. Yeah, that and that would be like I know it looked crazy, like really crazy having all these C-band dishes in my backyard. But
I also have a trailer mount 10-footer.
Yeah. If I could have like, if I came into a lot of money and could buy a big house out in the country, or even just have a big yard, I would probably have like 2 C-band dishes, just for, especially for my vlogging of this content. I would have a couple of C-band dishes, one for the east, one for the west. Maybe even like have a space for like an 8-footer and a 4-footer, just to try to see what transponders I can pick up with them. But yeah,
we have like 46 channels over the air now.
Yep.
I wish they would change the one grit channel though. We're getting grit in 2 different locations.
I get, you know what? Yeah, I get the same thing. I get MeTV in 2 different locations, and some of the channels, I get antenna TV in 2 different spots. One channel does antenna TV really well, and then there's another channel that has antenna TV with these annoying bars on the side. So the aspect ratio, like it's ugly, like an ugly colored bar. I'll have to take a picture and put it on the forum to show you what I'm talking about. But it just looks ugly. Where I prefer to have a stretched image than to have bars that look ugly for older content. And also, I don't know if you can see behind me.
I don't stretch it myself.
You can't see my TV back there. My kids were setting up stuff here. It's a mess back there, I know. But there's a CRT TV back there, which I really don't use the CRTV. I use this projector more, and I just live with stretched image.
Talking about projector, Robbie, I will show you what I just bought.
You bought another projector?
Yeah, and used from Marketplace.
From Marketplace.
Those cheap ass projector,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I will tell you, it's usable.
It's usable, yeah.
It's kind of usable if you take the full HD one. It's kind of usable. I bought it for $60, so.
Yeah, projectors are not that expensive. Well, basically, what they are is like a cell phone inside a projector. It's basically what they are.
And the funny thing, it's so true that the funny thing here is that when I plug it to my computer told me that it was a computer display panel.
Okay, yeah, because that's probably what the panel is. It's just modified to be a projector.
The electronics of it is of this come from I don't know if you can see. Sorry about that, but you know, you
I
kind
see
of know.
VGA. I can't see if it's HDMI. It probably is HDMI.
2 HDMI, 1 VGA, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, there's an audio video input and output for whatever. What I meant to say, what is interesting here is, regardless of the fact that the electronics actually don't come from a monitor, a computer monitor, it still declare itself like a computer monitor. So I wonder why. the so it's really a hush push of some parts and other parts that I don't know what they're doing, but it works. And unfortunately, those projectors have a downside to this. The downside to those projectors is that since you're using a big LCD, you obviously need a big lens and stuff like that. But when you're using those kind of LCD, they're more prone to have dust on it. So you always end up with some dust in the screen that are visible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would. Yeah. I mean,
It's not as close and encapsulated like the real projector, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I would be happy when these laser projectors that they have come down in price. They're really cool. Like you put them right up against the wall, and they. Just
give me a 20. Oh, those against the wall.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. And they're brighter than they're laser, and they're brighter than like what we're working with right now. I mean, these work okay in the dark, but they don't really work well during the daytime. It still is a TV set is going to give you better backlighting than a projector, in my opinion, like for watching it in a room during a regular day and all that. I'm not a big fan of, but I mean, I have a projector; they're fun, and even the one I have, which how cheap as it is, it's still better quality image than my old 8mm home movie projector, which was actually not even as big as a picture. Like the 8mm projectors really only projected like you remember those stand-up projectors, right? You only got like maybe a 6-foot screen with those things. So you can get like 10 to 12 feet with these projectors.
Yeah, those are, if I can, I'm using a 120, a 10-footer, also a 10-footer for my, so
my wall,
my
wall back here, there, that's my wall for the projector there. So
you're not using a screen actually.
No, just using the wall. That actually works well. It's like kind of a brown. I never painted it, but it's brown. But it works decently. I mean, it's not silver or gray or whatever, but it works.
You cannot actually
it's
use
good enough. Like I'm not gonna.
You know, huh?
What's that?
You cannot actually use silver as a.
No, like more of a silverishly white thing. But I remember in school we got lazy one day and we projected a movie onto the chalkboard and it worked. It was black, but you could watch it. The one thing I can't project it on is that green screen. It looks awful on the green screen if you project
it.
But I do have a sheet. I bought it, but it's all wrinkled up. I'll go show it to you for the projector.
I have one.
You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah, you're right.
How you doing, Leo?
Not much. I'm doing all right.
I haven't talked to you in quite a while.
Yeah, I've been busy.
I'll put it up.
At work.
So, this is like a 10-foot.
I'm using HughesNet right
like
now.
A 10-foot movie screen, but it's very wrinkly.
Okay.
Having it packed up like this is not the greatest, and I tried seeing if this really and it really didn't make things better than my wall. Like it didn't make the image show up better. But this is like a metallically gray, almost like a silver, is what they recommended for projecting a screen onto. This
I will never recommend silver, by the way.
No, I don't know if it's silver on that side.
Silver is only good for slides, for your father slides, you know.
Yeah, this is what the projector was like. It's not the greatest. I bought it. Like I thought I'd do a review of it, and I never did a review of it. So the idea of this is I hang it up on that.
Okay.
That's my green screen, which is really cool. You buy a green screen thing and hang a sheet off it and project onto it too. If you want to use a projector like for outside, the only thing if gusts of wind happens, if gusts of wind blows, the whole thing might blow down.
I do own a real cloth for a projector. The guy gave me that for the projector I bought from him, and I can tell you I don't use it at all because I have my screen, and it could be to sell. You know, if you want one, it's gonna fit right on your setup. Where did I put it? I should find it.
So, Robbie, you say that one place has a mover. Is it the V-Box?
No, it's like their own interesting thing. I did see a V-Box on, of all places, AliExpress.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know.
How much were they on there? Do you remember what they were?
I don't know. I can search it for you.
Because I've looked all around and nobody has them.
Yeah. They probably have old stock in one of the AliExpress stores. Like they have this must have giant warehouses, right?
Because I'm still trying to get
the problem is I search it in here. Typing.
I can find it, but
the problem with AliExpress is I type that in and it doesn't really bring up what I'm looking for. That's for sure. It finds what I've looked at. No, but they're not a. I'm gonna go to the washroom again. Be right back.
Well, to come back on the subject, you put at the front of the stream about the about AM radio and the new electronic cars with electric cars. The problem with those is that the AM pick up the inverter that is changing frequency to accelerate and decelerate the car. So that's the problem with those cars. The inverter that is modulating the speed of your car is what actually going to the AM radio. That's why they cannot do anything about it.
Your picture froze.
Me? Yeah, I know. My phone closed. Just a moment.
Have you seen the latest news on ESPN? They're leaving cable TV.
I heard that.
Yo, yeah, that's another nail in the coffin. Oh, good. My microphone didn't pick up the me going to the washroom like in the Naked Gun. The one thing with Restream, it blocked that.
So ESPN is still making a show of not showing what's happening with ESPN.
I think
they're leaving cable TV and they're just going to go internet only.
I don't know if they're gonna leave cable TV because like that's like a big. I mean, that would kill cable. You lose sports on cable. That's what keeps people on cable.
Not sure about that.
Well, that's what the CEO said.
Yeah, but they say
maybe sometimes there's things that people do in this business, in that business, where they threaten things.
Those are negotiation tactics, you know. They all already did that to Dish Network way back.
They did that to Dish Network, yeah. So I don't know if they'll didn't they do that to DirecTV for a while? They threatened they'll leave DirecTV. What Dish Network or DirecTV? They wanted to get a certain amount of money from them, and if they weren't, they're going to leave and then lose it. Take their customers with them or whatever. They're all doing that. Everyone's doing that. It's that's the industry, right? Hey, I'm just going to go to another platform and I'm going to,
everyone is going to their own platform. Robbie, you have your own platform.
Yep.
SPM has their own platform. Disney Plus have their own platform. So no one is broadcasting. Everyone is casting.
Yep. Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to hope to get my big dish going because so that I can have the best.
Yeah.
Of,
Well, my whole thought of free to air, that like with satellites being cheaper to go in orbit with companies like SpaceX, and they're putting like all the satellites. I thought we might go into an era where there's more free to air in North America, having more companies uplinking and better technology, where it would be more cheaper. Like I was hoping that we go into a time where it would only cost $1,000 to have an HD TV channel on satellite. Like it should be brought to that, but it's not. I guess you can have a HD channel on satellite, but it'd be like through Starlink, right? Because it'd be like through an internet stream.
It's good. It's a good and bad, but if you can't get the equipment in people's hands, it doesn't matter how many providers are uploading.
Yeah.
by
And
the
then
way, they're also selling Starlink through Home Depot and Best Buy.
Oh yeah, they have it at Home
Oh
Depot.
yeah, they're doing it through Home Depot now.
That's what it says.
Oh wow, I gotta go check it out then.
Yeah, but Brady, you're in an area where there's more like not less dense population. Where Leo is in near Dallas, where I imagine it's is a much more.
No,
dense.
I'm in Houston, near Houston.
Oh, okay, yeah. You used to live in Dallas.
No, I never lived in Dallas.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're
That's Donnie.
Yeah. Oh, okay, it's Donnie. Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys met in person?
No.
Oh, okay. I haven't met Patrick in person. We'll have to I'll have to get Patrick.
You should come by. I wanna.
Yeah, come by
One
sometime.
day or the
We're not
other.
too far.
I'm far, but I can lend you some dish pack. You know.
Yeah.
It can work.
I just don't have the land to put the dishes up. Like I'd love to have like the space to put more dishes up. That would be great.
Okay,
If they sell the land next to me, I'm gonna buy it. You know why? Because then I have 1 acre.
1 acre.
Robbie,
Yeah.
you just come here, but with your trailer, if you want.
Yeah.
Some park.
Yeah. Well, that's what. When I go into camping, I want to find a campsite where I can put up a C-band satellite dish nearby.
My God, you're gonna be the talk of the camp.
Or like have land.
Well, would you run it on an inverter of some sort, or would you run it on a generator?
A lot of campsites have plug-in power, and it's not going to use a lot of power.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of electricity. Like you could be totally off grid with a battery and still like be connected. If you're in a zombie apocalypse, like a Dead Man Walking or something, you're hiding out from the zombies or something. It's like you can still see. You should watch the world, and if all the TV broadcasts go down, then people will be talking on the radio. That's kind of
what I'm trying to figure out, Robbie, is I work a part-time job in the fall, and it's long hours. It's 6 days a week for 7 weeks when they're open, but I do it for about probably 13 weeks or something, and I just paid my house off. I'm getting a motorhome, but the problem is they said I could put an RV of some sort there, but it would be without hookups.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, there is a lot of those solar generators are kind of neat for that sort of situation. Have you seen those?
Well, I have a generator, and then the motorhome has a generator.
And I hate the terminology that they use for these things. These solar generators is basically a battery it comes with a solar panel, and you use the panel to charge the battery. It takes about a week of the panel in the sun to charge up the battery or something like that.
Yeah, I work at a pumpkin patch, and they have about everything there.
Oh yeah.
But I would be on the back end of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's either you have to go
with a
generator if you're able to and have the resources, put up some solar panels and make your own electricity way out
Well, the
off
biggest issue is water and
water.
sewer. I
Yeah,
heard they have a
water.
standalone septic tanks that are like $300, and
Yeah.
then a bladder.
Well, you have to research it and see if your area is doing a solar program. Because my area, they're doing a solar program, and you just give them some information, and they pipe it into their system, and they'll come out and pay for everything on the solar install.
Yeah, but those with solar program never are. They all those programs never work really for in your advantage because they work for our own, and the program actually work for solar panels that you gonna feed back the grid, but it's not for for batteries. So
Yeah. I wish there were.
Okay.
I wish there was a system where you can get solar.
Okay, I wish it were for battery
What
banks,
happens
not
if,
feeding the grid.
So
yeah,
Robbie,
they kind of paying you back because you're feeding the grid, but what you're paying actually you will end up paying your your installation in 20 years. When in 20 years your installation
you'll make money after
be
20 years.
depleted and done. So
Yeah. Okay, Brady, one more question, and I am gonna have to go.
okay.
yeah, questions.
Is there any of our buddies here that, I mean, I know not here probably, but any of our people that listen to your show that have satellite that are totally off grid?
I don't think I know of anyone who is actually off grid. I know of, and he has a YouTube channel. It's Fairpoint Farms. He's been pretty good. He's done a little bit of everything for his farm. He's got like a satellite dish. He's got some solar generating stuff, but he's not totally off grid. I guess his goal for Eric over at Fairpoint Farms is to like be off grid, but he does have it like set up so that if they do lose power, they have a backup. So yeah, have you seen his channel, Fairpoint Farms?
I think I have.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. I know he's on BitChute and on other platforms. I'm not sure if he's on Rumble or not. I just see him on YouTube because like every time he has a new video out, he usually has a video out Saturday morning with like one of the solar generators. He's covered a few of the solar generator things. Solar generators, I know, but that's what they call them.
So
The batteries with the solar panel that comes with them.
That's what I would like to do with the solar, is to go totally off grid.
Mm-hmm.
I can add one thing here. It's not about being off grid that completely, but just for people to remember that when you use you lose electricity for more than 3 or 4 days, you're gonna lose the cellular reception, and you're gonna lose obviously television and stuff like that. But if you're on fiber optics, you will lose nothing. They last for weeks.
Well, I'd like
Really?
to put like a
That's interesting.
single wide, and then put it, all propane with solar, and then a wood stove for a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my
The thing is, all of
satellite.
us with our knowledge, we should all be like, we should go
What about
join
the
each other in a
refrigerator? You
commune,
don't get a propane
the
refrigerator?
survivalists.
Hey, if there's ever a point, I don't know if there'd be any point in this, but I can't do it right now, but somewhere down the future with my phone system, I can do up to like 25 for a Zoom call, or even up to 100 with my phone system. And each one of us could have an extension to the UMA business.
Do UMA? Oh yeah. I have UMA as my phone. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I'm gonna sign this thing off. I got a few things got to get done here. Oops. There. So I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for joining in the chat and in the voice chat. So we'll do this again at some time. I know it doesn't do as well for the viewers initially, but Friday mornings work for me for the most part. So that's why I have it on there. We'll have to do a Zoom chat at some point. Where do I put my graphics here? Captions. There we go. Graphics.
I
If you
did
guys
hear
want to talk in
that.
Discord after, we could do that as well.
I did hear that somebody is using UMA on Starlink and works great out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got to get going here, so I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.